So what is actually mewing?
Well, it's a tropic premise. Lips together, teeth together, tongue on the roof of the mouth, added with strong chewing muscles standing up straight.
Yeah, okay.
So
they've been practicing that and doing like are they pushing with their tongue?
No. This is confusion. So I've removed half the reason. Well, a good chunk of the reason I've done the Mewing app. So the Mewing app by Mike Mew. All right, you can get it on the Android or the other one,
iOS.
Exactly. That's there to teach you to do it properly because I was worried. Number of people sending me messages saying, "Oh, I've had this terrible problem because I've been pushing my tongue." Well, why are you pushing your tongue? Well, I never said that.
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing? If you're going to push your tongue all the time, whoa, what problems could you cause? No, it's supposed to be held there with suction.
Yeah.
And then that's effortless. You can hold, as long as it keeps your lips sealed, as long as you hold your lips sealed as the seal at the front, you should be able to maintain a vacuum standing up straight all the time. So, that's what I'm saying. It basically is good posture.
Nothing else.
Nothing. It really is good posture, but there are certain secrets. And of course, understanding the back third of the tongue, I went to see Angela Kane. She ran this thing called the Voice Gym. And a light bulb moment when I realized what the back third of the tongue is. When I engage the back third of the tongue.
How do you engage the back third of the tongue?
You've got to get the hyoid. It was going to take me about 20 minutes, half an hour to really explain it to you. So that's why it's on the Mewing app, because and then you can't see anything. It doesn't translate in video or it's
because
really
you have to do it with your mouth shut.
Exactly. And then you can't see anything in. I've tried to explain to someone in a kind of like amateur podcast. It didn't work. So let's not go there.
Okay.
But as it's called the hyoid lift, as I raise my hyoid up, the power of the hyoid kicks up here and it pushes you into better body neck head posture, and then it maintains it. So if you see my hyoid going up, you see I can hold better. You naturally want to hold better head posture. Yeah. So I just suck my tongue up, hyoid goes up.
Yeah. And you just keep it like that.
As long as you keep the suction, you stay there.
Yeah.
And of course...
Oh, so you create like a vacuum.
You create a vacuum in the mouth.
Okay, yeah, I understand.
But you've got to have enough space to get your tongue up there. Yeah. Because, of course, we do two compensations. Because we lack space, we have a forward head posture, and then we put the tongue between the teeth, often with the mouth open. And that because you've had a reduction in cross-sectional area, and you want to breathe.
Yeah, it's weird that actually you breathe easier through the nose.
You should do. Yeah. Depends what your nasal structure is. Depends how affected you are.
Yeah. So I have no idea how affected I am.
You're less than most.
Yeah. Well, I have a stuffed nose right now because I've been sick 2-3 days ago.
Yeah, but
so it's not a regular situation for me. But
yeah, but you just see. I saw some research by including a friend of mine. Mariner Evans, where they looked at just pre-industrial skulls, and the width of the nasal complex is just, it looks like those pre-industrial people were different species from those post-industrial. That's us.
Really?
And you're definitely post-industrial. You're better than average.
Yeah.
But if you're having any signs of a blocked nose, you've got problems.
Yeah, because you know how I noticed?
You should have such a wide nasal capacity. You never, ever, ever get blockage.
Yeah, well, when I noticed the problem was when, doing these breathing exercises, and most of those exercises, I mean, almost all of them, if not all of them, practice breathing through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And, there's a different ways you exhale, like not changing the atmospheric pressure, just releasing the air like I think the balloon, fill balloon the air out. But breathing through the nose, and once you advance in exercises, and there's like more vigor, more intensity with breathing in, and feeling the capacity of from your abdomen, from your lungs, and so on. It turns out if you want to do that in shorter amount of time, it turns out I have to I have to open my mouth a little bit and help breathing in, because I cannot take enough amount of air in such a short time only through my nose. It's just like it just doesn't have enough capacity.
I mean,
it feels like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, there's
if I want to follow through the exercise, I have to open my mouth a little bit and help.
There's so much contradictory information on this,
Yeah.
and of course that's why we really need science. And of course, I think that you've got one situation that there are different situations for different times. You know, we know that eating little and often is the perfect antidote when you're recovering post-surgery. However, we also have good evidence to suggest that intermittent fasting can be very good for you. So clearly these are at different periods at different times.
Yeah.
You know, you look at the work of Konstantin Buteyko with the Buteyko breathing, and he's saying that we need to breathe less, slow right down, build up our carbon dioxide levels. He's suggesting that one of the great causes of allergies is the fact that we're breathing too much. We're blowing off our carbon dioxide. That's changing with the Bohr effect. That's having an effect on how the oxygen's released peripherally. It's also changing the pH and blood biochemistry, which he feels is leading to allergies.
Okay.
So that's the fact. There's a whole. We don't need to open that Pandora's box.
Okay,
we will be there all day.
Because everything I read and listened to suggests otherwise. Like
I know, but I think this is the same situation that when you're in the normal day-to-day running of the system. You should have higher carbon dioxide levels, minimal breathing, absolute low breathing. And then, periods of time, you need to be able to burst and do absolute heavily breathing. So I think that it's very difficult to draw a sort of one brush fits all times.
Yeah.
So I definitely really, Buteyko puts me some really good stuff, and I totally buy into that. And yet also does some of these other breathing experts put in some other good stuff. I often think they're not asking the question, why? Why are we breathing badly? Well, I would say that often we've had periods where we've had to use too much muscular effort, too much chest work to breathe because we were struggling to breathe because our structure wasn't good. And that's the big open question of all of these breathing guys. None of them are asking the question, why are we breathing badly in the first place?
Yeah.
So that why. I remember meeting a German engineer and he said, yes, we must be taught. We are asked to ask the question, why, 6 times.
Yeah.
You give me the response and I'll say, why is that?
Yeah.
You give me the response, I say, why is that? And they do it 6 times. I wish medicine would do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, one thing we sit in this little speck of nowhere in the universe. And when we look at what we know about the universe around us, it defies logic. Defies logic at how much we know. Now, we've done this in combination between experimenters, observational experimenters, and philosophers. So you have the astrophysicists who just philosophize and astrophysicists who do experimentation, and they bounce off each other. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
In medicine, where are the philosophizers? Where are they? We have no philosophy going on. No one's sitting there trying to answer basic, simple questions. We just have experimenters. And experimenters come up, and you read the article, the abstract, and the conclusion.
Well, you do have now a holistic approach in psychedelic treatment where they use philosophers.
Well,
because you're going through existential crisis.
Galen, what you're suggesting is that there's new areas of medicine where we're getting people philosophizing. Yeah. Exactly. That's where we should be. Yeah. That's what we need. We're just lacking philosophy. We're lacking people sitting there talking about it. And of course, what I would really like to see is where we have this the philosophizers, the experimenters, and the patients.
Yeah, because now also you have a huge trend in psychiatric and treatment, and in psychology treatments also, that philosophers are entering this, and you now have this existential psychology going on, and it's a quite big wave.
Yeah. I mean, it's not
philosophers becoming psychotherapists.
Certainly not my area. but we've got this right now. All right. So Karl Popper wrote the philosophy of science, and he was the one who put forward the null hypothesis, and he was put forward, the article I wrote in 2009, the Black Swan. Yeah. So he made this question, the Black Swan, that he said that if you work, and this is empirical science is how we move, kind of what medicine's been based on is empirical science. And the problem with empirical science is that if you look around the world and you say swans are white, you can say they're always white. They're always white, aren't they? Every swan we'd ever seen was white until they arrived in Perth, Australia, and they found black swans.
Yeah.
Now, until that moment, you could have put forward the argument the swans were white. And from empirical science, that would hold true.
Yep.
So he put forward the concept of the null hypothesis. He said you couldn't prove anything. Now, another philosophy he had was on the communication of science. He who holds the power of communication within science holds the power of science. What are we doing right now? Are you a scientist?
No.
Okay. 30 years ago, could we have done this?
No.
Okay. So now we've changed the communication of science.
Yep.
Yes. So we're pushing back science. We're changing science. Now, anyone watching this, ask yourself, do you watch other podcasts? Do you watch other videos on YouTube about health? How are those possible? Because the communication in science has changed. Social media has changed the level of communication, and hasn't that been an eye-opener in medicine in so many different directions?